am R. Vidyasagar from Madras Medical College. I am part of this book on psychosomatic illness. First, I will start with my aim in life. My aim, as all medicos would say, is to become a good doctor, a great doctor, a successful doctor. But more than that, I want to become an asset to this nation. How will I do this? I want to bring all the latest technologies in the world available to India, to the poor, to the downtrodden. As all people would say, nothing comes free in this world. But there is always something which you can render free. That is your service to your fellow men. So you can do this by becoming a good doctor and by serving the poor. How would I do this? How will I bring the latest technologies from around the world? How will I do this at affordable cost? So I like to open multinational companies, corporates, and also my fellow colleagues. So by the coordinated effort, I am sure we can achieve this. So actually I am not aiming for the Nobel Prize, but if I were to be given, I will surely accept. Okay. My topic is sleep and human emotions. So first, let me start with sleep. Sleep is really a fascinating arena, but it is also one of the areas which is neglected in science. An average man, as you know, spends around 1/3 of his lifetime in sleep. But we do not give importance to sleep. We see many problems arising because of lack of sleep, improper sleep hours, and also because of alteration in the pattern of sleep. So I am sure this topic will increase your interest to delve further into sleep. So let me start with an introduction on sleep. Sleep is one of the most fascinating arenas, but unfortunately it is also one of the most neglected areas in science. An average man spends around 1/3 of his lifetime sleeping, that is around 8 hours a day. But we see that most of the people do not do this actually. So this is one of the reasons why sleep and human illnesses are related. So this is much relevant nowadays, where people have altered sleep patterns, poor sleep, lack of sleep, etc. So let me start with the stages of sleep. Sleep is basically divided into two stages: REM sleep and non-REM sleep. REM sleep is characterized by the presence of rapid eye movements, whereas non-REM sleep is characterized by the absence of it. But there is much more than this. Non-REM sleep is further divided into 4 stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4, which is characterized by progressively increasing deeper states of sleep. And it is also characterized by EEG changes in the form of changes in the amplitude, changes in the frequency, and also changes in the synchronization. That is, it gets progressively synchronized and progressively the amplitude increases. That is, you understand that in stage 4 it is the deepest stage of sleep, and it is also characterized by the most synchronized part of sleep. That is, the EEG has the most synchronized wave pattern. The REM sleep is actually considered the stage 5 of sleep, but you should understand that it is a paradoxical sleep. REM sleep is characterized by rapid eye movements, whereas we saw that sleep gets progressively deepened through stages 1 to 4. In stage 5, that is REM sleep, it actually becomes more, the brain becomes more active. It's more like a stage of wakefulness. But why do we not wake up during the REM sleep? Actually, the REM sleep occurs for 5 to 30 minutes every 90 minutes of sleep. But we do not find people waking up from their sleep every 90 minutes. Why does this happen? Because the brain is active, but the activity is not actually properly channeled for the brain to be aware, for you to be aware, and hence to be awake. So the brain activity is not properly channeled in REM sleep. There is rapid eye movements, but there is inhibition of all the other muscle movements. It is also characterized by active dreaming, and the inhibition of all the muscle movements takes care that you do not act out your dreams. Okay. Now we will start with the explanation for 3 of our questions from the book, from the chapter on sleep and human emotions. Let me take 3 interesting questions, 3 interesting topics: hormones and human emotion. That is, hormones and its influence on sleep and emotion. We'll see about estrogen. Second, about dysomnia, narcolepsy, cataplexy, and the third about dreams. So the first question is on estrogen and its effect on sleep. What is the role of estrogen in the sleep of perimenopausal women? What is the role of estrogen over sleep in perimenopausal women? This is the question. All of you must have known estrogen as a steroid hormone. Estrogen is a steroid hormone which has its effect, which is secreted by the ovary, placenta, etc. It has its role on various tissues in the body. It has its role in the reproductive development, in the reproductive structures, in the secondary sexual characters in women. It It also has its role in the bones, in the various tissue. It's actually an anabolic hormone. But do you ever know, have you ever heard that estrogen has its effect on the brain? In other words, there are receptors in the brain for estrogen? No, I don't think so. Most of you would not have heard of this. But wonder of wonders, there are receptors in the brain for estrogen. There is a role for estrogen in the brain. There are roles for estrogen in the brain. Estrogen is actually a very versatile hormone. So, what is the role of estrogen in sleep specifically? So that is the question. Estrogen acts like a neurotransmitter in the brain, and in perimenopausal women this is particularly effective because this is particularly appreciated because there are fluctuations in the level of estrogen around the perimenopausal stages. Because the estrogen level falls drastically, and if they take supplements the estrogen increases. So there are fluctuations in the level of estrogen, and hence it is better studied in the perimenopausal women. So in the perimenopausal women, according to a study, it has been found that estrogen has a role on insomnia. That is, it helps to prevent insomnia. It helps to better the sleep in women who suffer from insomnia around the perimenopausal period. So estrogen, actually the options as we have seen are decrease in the frequency and duration of the awakenings, increase in the frequency and duration of the awakenings, or decrease in the frequency of awakenings, or increase in the duration of awakenings, or increase in the frequency of awakenings but decrease in the duration of awakenings. So these are the various options that are given in the question. But this is a simple thing that explains estrogen prevents insomnia, so it has to decrease the duration as well as frequency of the awakenings during sleep. So this is a really wonderful effect of estrogen. So we can expect in future estrogen pills for the treatment of insomnia in perimenopausal women. Okay, let us take the ninth question. The ninth question is on dysomnia. It's about narcolepsy and cataplexy. The following is the clearest indicator that emotional processes are involved in the REM sleep abnormality of narcolepsy. So we have given the options as tremors, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder and cataplexy. So first of all, what is this narcolepsy? Narcolepsy is actually a chronic sleep disorder. It's a dysomnia. It's a chronic sleep disorder characterized by excessive daytime sleepiness. The person feels excessively fatigued during the day, and the person sleeps at inappropriate times. Actually, there is a Hollywood movie based on this narcolepsy, where the heroine falls asleep every time. She falls asleep at inappropriate times. So this is actually a famous movie. You should all watch this. This clearly explains the clinical features of narcolepsy. So narcolepsy is characterized by excessive daytime fatigue. And also there is something else which people with narcolepsy experience, that is cataplexy. What is this cataplexy? Cataplexy is excessive muscle weakness. It's a sudden loss of muscle strength, and the person experiences muscle weakness which may range from mild slackening of the muscles in the face, etc., or it may even be complete loss of muscle strength, and the person may even collapse. So otherwise, some people may experience excessive muscle stiffness and paralysis of the muscles. So it may have wide range of presentations. So this cataplexy is triggered by emotional processes, by very strong, powerful emotions such as anger, surprise, laughter, etc. So such powerful emotions trigger cataplexy in people who have narcolepsy. So that emotional processes are involved in the pathophysiology of narcolepsy is clearly explained by this process, cataplexy. What is cataplexy? Cataplexy is sudden loss of muscle strength, that is sudden muscle weakness. So people, that is narcoleptics, experience cataplexy during the waking hours. It is actually triggered by strong, powerful emotions like anger, laughter, surprise. So many powerful emotions may trigger this cataplexy. It may actually range from just mild loss of muscle strength, just mild slackening of the facial muscles or other muscles, or even total collapse of the person because of complete loss of muscle strength. So it may have a wide variety of presentations. It may even cause muscle stiffening and something like muscle paralysis in the person. So wide range of presentations might be there for cataplexy. That emotional processes are involved in the pathophysiology of narcolepsy is clearly indicated by cataplexy, because most of the people with narcolepsy experience cataplexy. So cataplexy and narcolepsy go hand in hand. It may actually have a genetic basis, but this is not proved yet. It may run in families, and there are also some environmental factors which may influence the outcome of narcolepsy. The manifestations, the clinical manifestations in patients with narcolepsy might be influenced by environmental factors. Let us come to question number 29. The mastery theory of dream function postulates that dreams serve as an adaptive function in the emotional processings. So what do you mean by, what does the question indicate? What is a mastery theory? First of all, dreams have been quite fascinating. Man has always been fascinated by dreams. We have come with a lot of explanations for the role of dreams, for why dreams occur, for the causation of dreams. There are many mythologies, folklores which come out with explanation, with a wide variety of explanations for dreams. And there are also various theories put forth by various psychiatrists, psychologists, etc. for the role, causation, role and effect of dreams. The mastery theory is a general theory actually. The mastery theory of mind. The mind tries to overcome the infantile inadequacies to attain a mastery over this world. This is what the mastery theory says, according to psychologists. The same way, dream is actually a mental process. The dream is very much a mental process, and this dream also serves as an adaptive role. It also serves to attain mastery over the worldly processes. This is what the mastery theory says, and there have been various psychologists who have put forth their comments on the mastery theory, who range from Freud, Adler, Hall. Many great psychologists have given comments on the mastery theory, have given their contributions for the mastery theory. So, how do dreams help us to adapt? Most of us do not remember our dreams. Most of us do not commit dreams to our memory. We do not, in fact, consider dreams as a significant thing to give importance. So, we do not get solution from dreams because we do not consider it as significant. We do not consider them as significant. So then, how do dreams help in problem solving? They do not actually directly help in problem solving, but dream affects the mood. Dream affects the mood of the person. So, the mood is carried over to the next day. You may not actually remember the dream. You may not actually remember what you dreamed of. But the mood that is affected by the dream is carried over to the next day during the waking hours. So this mood may have an influence on various processes, day-to-day activities of the person. So this is how dream indirectly affects the day-to-day activities of a person. Actually, it helps to adapt and overcome various obstacles. So many psychologists have put forth their own theories on dream. They say it helps to release all the psychic tensions and it helps to overcome the obstacles in life. So dream is still a mystery for man. So probably we should investigate further into the various aspects of dream, the role of dream, the causative factors, and of course we must remember this mastery theory of dream function.